What's going on, ghosties? Welcome back to Tales of Spooky Coffee House. If you're new here, welcome to our show. We are your hosts. I'm Chelsea,
And I'm Veronica.
and it's time for our much needed coffee break. So, Veronica,
Yes.
I hear that you've started a certain book.
Yes. Yes, I did. I did.
A certain book
And
that I warned you not to read.
no, listen, I'm gonna pull through, push through, and get through this book. But like, okay, like, I don't know, you see the word haunted, like the title haunted, and you think, okay, cool, it's gonna be spooky, um, whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna haunt me for life. Um, this
Oh, it's
shit
gonna
is
haunt you
just
for life, all right.
yeah, it's disturbing to say the least. Like in a way that I was not expecting it to be. So I'm just like disturbed.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, I think I'm gonna continue reading like cannibal book like cannibalism books and like thrillers and true crime because this whatever this is not me. Like what? But
Oh,
like I
there's
said, I'm gonna
cannibalism
keep
later,
reading it.
though.
That's why like I'm gonna push through, I'm gonna keep reading. I want this to be a book that I can say, yes, I have read every page from start to end and I got through it,
And
kind
I
of.
don't want to talk about it.
And I don't want to talk about it. I can't. It's like things you can't even talk about. Like I told I told a couple of my friends, I'm like, so this is the book I'm reading. And like I was telling them, they're just looking at me like, what the fuck are you reading? Just like, right? It's definitely not a book so far that I can talk about on the podcast. I mean, I'm sure I can, but it's not something that I would want to talk about, I guess. But
Yeah,
once I
no, I
get to
get it.
certain parts, I'm down. But like the what's going on with you? What's high?
Do you think it's gonna take you to read like 2 years to read it like it did for me? Or how do you feel
No.
like it's gonna go?
So I will finish this book. Give me till the end of July.
Okay. Okay. I see your
If I'm
challenge.
not done by the end of July, I need to be at least three quarters of the way done. But give me till the end of July. That's my challenge.
Okay. And ghosties, for those of you that like haven't been around or haven't been paying attention, Veronica's reading Haunted by Chuck, what's his last name?
Oh shit, where's my book? That's a great question, Chelsea.
His
I'm
last name is
so
kind of hard to
happy.
pronounce anyways, but if you look up Fight Club the
I
book,
got it.
it's the
I
same
got it.
author.
It's Chuck Pella. No, one second.
Yeah.
Pella Nuke.
That's not how you say it. I know for sure. I've heard it. I just
That's how you say
can't
it. It says someone that can't fucking say it right now.
pronounce it. So I also have read a book recently
Mhm.
that I finished.
Mhm.
It's called How to Survive Your Murder by Danielle Valentine.
Ooh.
Low key, I would not mind it if you read it because I would reread it again so that way we could talk about it.
Yeah.
But so what I wasn't expecting, it had a lot of Scream references.
Huh. I can see
And
why you liked it.
yeah, like that's literally like because I was starting to get bored because I was listening to the audiobook and I did not like the audiobook narrator.
Mhm.
The time if I don't like an audiobook, I'll pick up the book and see if I like it then.
Mhm.
But as soon as it started saying like Scream references, like they were talking about ski and everything, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna finish listening. Like I'll push through.
Yeah.
So I listened to it. It's really good, actually. It like I really love the storyline and everything. Um, what I didn't, it's not that I didn't like it. The ending had me shook. Okay,
Mhm.
to the
Mhm.
point where I stopped working and didn't even notice that I had stopped working, and I was like just like zoned out, like horrified as I'm listening. Because when I listen to audiobooks, I picture it in my head.
Right.
And my boss, like, I didn't even see her walking up to me. She had to touch my arm and she's like, Chelsea, are you okay? And I looked at her and I was like, I I don't know what to say about this ending. Because like it's not this is not a spoiler, but I'm used to because it's a young adult book, and I'm used to them always having a happy ending.
Right.
And depending on the perspective that you take on this ending, it could be either one. Like you're either like oh, like she got what she wanted or she got what she deserved. There is
Mhm.
no in between.
Mhm.
And I have never been so shocked by a book. Like I've been shocked, but it's been a while. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
the last
Mhm.
time I got so shocked like I was this time was when I listened to the audiobook for it and I got to that scene that I for
Oh,
some
yeah.
reason did not fucking know even existed until I read the book. That's
I
the
wish
last
I could
time I got.
experience that. I really wish cuz like I've heard about that. I heard about it a long time ago before I even wanted to read the book. I'm a huge It fan. Like It is
Mhm.
probably one of my favorite movies, the original at least. The new one's good, but I'm a huge fan of the original one.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah,
so
Tim Curry, like you can't beat Tim Curry.
oh dude, Tim Curry, legend,
Yeah.
legend.
Yeah.
Um, but like you know, like I'm gonna read the book knowing that that part's in there. I'm sure I'm still gonna be like, what the fuck? But I wish
Yeah.
I could have had your experience.
Yeah, because the way that he introduces it too, like even if you know that it's in there, you really don't see it coming until it's already like happening. You know what I mean?
You don't see it coming.
Stop, it's children. Speaking of movies, I've been catching up on my horror and thriller movies lately because
Mm-hmm.
I've spent the last few years reading rather than watching movies. So I say I'm
Mm-hmm.
a horror fan, but I'm behind. So I just watched a thriller. It's called The Invitation. Have you seen it?
No, I remember seeing like trailers or like, you know,
Yeah.
but no.
So I'm working on like a gothic theme book, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I had heard that it had like gothic-y vibes that I was looking for, and it did. It did. Um, I was not a fan of the plot twist. I did not see the plot twist, and it just like ruined the entire movie for me.
Mm,
And are you gonna watch it?
no.
Okay. So Ghosties, spoiler for the plot twist. If you're going to watch it, don't listen for the next like 2 minutes. The plot twist was they're vampires.
Uh-huh.
And it just like ruined the entire movie because it just started giving Twilight vibes after that. Like straight Twilight vibes, but gothic-y.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was horrible.
I need to vent a little bit actually since you brought up spoilers. Can I vent to you?
Okay, yeah.
Ghosties, I'm gonna vent to you. So remember how I talked to you guys about Tender is the Flesh, the book
Yeah.
I read? And remember how I was like, spoiler alert, if you're gonna read this book, don't listen to the next like minute or so.
Uh-huh.
So here's the
Did,
thing. Our little friend Z.
oh God. Of course it's
So
Z.
I any and all books that I ever read, I always just shove it in front of her. Like, okay, read it. You know, because it's like I have someone to talk to about it.
Yeah.
And so it was already initiated that once I was done reading the book, she was gonna read it next.
Uh-huh.
We hung out the other day and she listened to the whole entire thing. I'm like, bitch, I don't even want to give you the book anymore because you already know what happened. She's like, no, I'll still read it. Like, no. Anyways, I just want to say I'm really upset. And I can't look at her right now, you know?
Yes. And ghosties, this is a normal thing for like the friendship group.
I don't know. There's not gonna be a group anymore.
That's also a normal thing that's said, and it's never gonna happen.
Like
Um
Stephanie, she's never gonna be on this ever. She hates us. She doesn't love us enough to be on here.
uh we're just gonna keep giving you shit, Stephanie, until you're finally on here.
Or finally catches up to this episode.
Right? um so we have an update on the Idaho University murders. Did you see it yet?
Nope.
All right. Ghosties, we covered this topic as it was happening in season one, like at the end, in November. And if you don't already know, the trial to prosecute Brian Kopinger has begun, and they are seeking the death penalty. That is kind of like that's the update. They're starting the trial, and they have put the death penalty on the table. Now, Shannon Gray, who is representing one of the victims' families, shared this quote. The question was the question really was posed: if you're not going to pursue the death penalty on a case like this, what kind of case would you ever pursue the death penalty on?
Mm-hmm.
It's a fair
That's a good
point.
question. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a fair point. There's a lot of controversy on this decision. It's really it surprisingly it's 50-50. Where like half the people don't think that it's fair and the other half are like, yeah, he deserves it.
What?
Yeah, I was really surprised.
I think that's why our system is so fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And in another kind of like system fucked up thing, um, because the investigators and the state and city released the house back to the university.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if it was prosecution or defense, but they really wanted the jurors to walk through the house as part of their like case or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Idaho University is demolishing it by the end of the month.
Wow.
And there's a lot of people who are not okay with this because there's a lot of it's the fact of it's the size of the house, the weird layout, because I don't know if you remember, but there was a very strange layout to the house. Like it wasn't just
Mm-hmm.
like a square box. And so there's a lot of arguing going on with that as well.
Interesting. I kind of have an update on Alexi Treviso actually.
Oh, okay.
Um, that you kind of reminded me about. So, if you haven't heard about Alexi Treviso yet, literally go on TikTok and just put her name in the search box. And I swear you're gonna be in this like black hole of just nothing but craziness. So, quick little summary of it. Alexi, I believe, was a 19-year-old or 18-year-old who gave birth to a baby in a hospital bathroom, put the baby in a plastic bag, threw it in the trash, and tried to make it seem like she didn't know she was pregnant and oh, the baby wasn't crying. But the autopsy report showed that the baby did die from suffocation. Also, so the latest update is that Alexi was aware that she was pregnant. We all knew that, especially if you look at the pictures of her with her bump.
Yeah,
That she.
I
Mhm,
finally saw those because when you had talked about her, I had never seen the photos.
mhm,
And
mhm,
they actually showed up on my TikTok this morning, which is really
mhm.
funny. And
And yeah,
very obviously pregnant, yeah.
very obviously pregnant, and she tried to blame that on birth control, her weight gain, but you don't just
You
gain
don't
weight.
gain weight like that.
Yeah. Um so anyways, she was indeed aware that she was pregnant. She did know she was having a boy, and she already planned to name the baby Alex. So question is, when did she decide that she didn't want this baby anymore if she had already had these plans? Was it someone else that convinced her to not have the baby or do something to the baby? Because remember, when the cops came into the hospital room where Alexi had, she had just killed her baby and the mom was in there, she didn't know yet. And the
Yeah.
cops go, "We found a dead baby." And the mom goes, "Alexi, I told you to tell me the truth. We talked about this. We
Mhm.
talked about how girls go to jail for killing their babies." So now there's new questions coming up that still need to be answered, and I'm sure we will get answers in the near future because yeah, things are just consistently coming up about this case. But if
Yeah.
I do find out more, I'll definitely update you guys.
Yeah. The world is just crazy right now.
It is.
To get away from the craziness, let's talk about positive things.
What? We do that here?
Yeah, we do that sometimes. Especially when
Oh.
we're traumatized, especially with babies. Have you seen Taylor Swift's new music video that just came out?
I didn't see it, but I know who's in it. I saw like a post of it on Instagram.
Yeah, and I absolutely relationship. And ghosties, if you haven't seen, Taylor Lautner is in her new music video. The Easter eggs that are in the video, like I have to say, because like one of the things that Taylor Lautner had always said that he like regretted was not, because he didn't hear what had happened. Like he never stepped in when Kanye West like interrupted her speech. Do you remember that whole thing?
Of course.
And so in the music video, he like essentially saves her, like he breaks her out, and I just think that that's really sweet that she gave him the chance to like representatively redeeming himself. You know what I mean?
Hmm, hmm.
So I just think that's super cute. And now for some strange reason, horror fan like always. But I got a soft spot for like Taylor Swift, Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, Miley Cyrus. Those are like my OG girls, you know what I mean? Because I watched them grow up, except for Taylor. Like I
Hmm.
didn't watch on Disney Channel, but yeah, I love it, and I love that you're letting me rant about it.
I mean, it's our childhood, you know, but what I
Yeah,
was thinking about as you were telling this was it, I feel like if we have young listeners, I don't think a lot of them will know who Taylor Lautner is.
that's true. Because Taylor Lautner was like the big thing for us,
Yeah,
just
when
because of
we were
Twilight.
teenagers.
Yeah, that's true.
So like I can only imagine, which I don't know if teenagers should be listening to this podcast, but
But also, like, I feel like they would know about Taylor Lautner just because, like, Swifties are hardcore. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and like with all her songs and stuff, like, the secret that Back to December was about him and all this other stuff. But, anyways, so more like inspiring things, Ghosties, we talk about TikTok a lot on here, and for good
No, we
reason.
don't.
Yeah, we really do. And I love what the people on TikTok can do for others. Specifically, like right now, I'm talking about a video that just went viral recently. When the video came across my FYP page, it had about 1,000 views on it, and that was it. By the time it went viral, it had millions of views, and it made new author, first time author Sean Warner hit Amazon's bestseller list within a week, like not even a week. And the video showed a guy who walked up to Sean Warner in Walmart, and he looked really sad. He was promoting his first book, and like nobody was stopping for him. And this guy bought 2 copies, shared the video, did a giveaway, gave one of the books for free, and it was signed, like he signed it. And I had bought a copy like as soon as I saw the video because this guy was like he was super sad, and like I always support like new authors and stuff.
Yeah.
But he he is so like grateful for everything, and the book is a mystery, which is like why I thought it was fitting for us because it's I've heard that it's actually like really good. Like everybody's commenting like it's actually really good. Like go check it out.
Hmm.
And so I can't wait for my copy to come in because I'm excited.
That's exciting. What was the name of the book? Do you remember?
Lee Howard and the Ghost of Simon's Pierce Manor. Of Simmons Pierce Manor. Sorry.
You should post it so because I mean it sounds interesting. I
Yeah.
want to support too.
Yeah, I'll definitely post it. But yeah, I thought the video and like just like people just doing something so simple. Like this guy had no idea his viral to help this guy out, and now he's selling thousands of copies all because of this one like generous. You know, it took him what like maybe 5 minutes to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But getting back into the spooky, I'm gonna wing ourselves into the true crime topic of the week. Do you know what the elevator game is?
The elevator game.
The
I
elevator
think
game.
so. I think so. I think Simon Colby did it in an episode, but go ahead and explain what it is.
So the elevator game is basically where you put numbers into the elevator, and like a woman will show up. You're not supposed to look at her, talk to her, like don't even like acknowledge that she's there. If you like as you're following the steps, if you go back down to level 1, like you're supposed to just like walk out and act like nothing happened. But if the elevator goes up, you have to have at least 10 floors to the hotel or wherever you're at. But if it goes up, you can enter another world.
A floor that's not really there. Like I don't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Let's play.
Okay, well, let me there's rules that you have to follow. And also ghosties, if you acknowledge the woman, rumor has it that you will die.
I'm too nice to play this game. I'd
I
be like,
Because
hello, how are you?
that was my question. Like I was gonna ask, would you want to play?
I'll play, but if I know I'm playing the game and I see a woman, you best believe I ain't looking. I ain't saying anything, and yeah,
Yeah. I'm hesitant just because like you have to do it by yourself. You can't do it with other people.
I don't mind. I'll play as long as the elevator doesn't break.
No, see, like my thing is my anxiety. I'm not gonna talk to the woman, but my anxiety is that I'm gonna get stuck in the other world. Like I'm gonna fuck up the instructions and not come back to our world, and then I'm gonna be
I
stuck
just
there by myself.
I just don't believe in that stuff.
Yeah, that just must be because I'm an author and my imagination goes stupid crazy, and my anxiety cannot handle that.
Yeah.
But let's get started in the true crime topic of the week. We're going to be talking about Marie Laveau. Do you know who Marie Laveau is?
New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, Marie Catherine Laveau was born September 10th, 1801, and died June 15th, 1881. She was a Louisiana Creole practitioner of voodoo, an herbalist and midwife who was like renowned in New Orleans, still is. Historical records state that Marie was born of Free Orleans, which is today's French Quarter, and at the time of her birth, Louisiana was still administered by the Spanish colonial officials. So her mother, I cannot say her name correctly, was a free woman of color from Africa, European, and Native American ancestry. Because her mother was not married at the time of her birth, her father was not identified on her baptismal records. But some people believe that a possible candidate is Charles Laveau, the son of Charles Laveau Trudeau, who
Hmm.
was a white Louisiana Creole and politician. Other historians claim that her father was a free man of color named Charles Laveau, and a lot of so this is kind of where the confusion comes from because both of them are Charles, and one is Laveau and one is Lavox, and the confusion comes from the inconsistent spellings in surviving records because Lavox is the French spelling of Laveau. So the reason I wanted to talk about this particular topic is because the truth of who she actually was has been vastly warped in recent years. So, this is mostly due to the fictionalized character in American Horror Story that's played by Angela Bassett,
Hmm.
but it's also been going on for years before that because of the taboo surrounding voodoo.
Hmm.
In many instances, she is still depicted as a voodoo queen, but an evil one who murders people and even tortures them. However, the real Marie Laveau was a kind woman. Surprisingly, I don't know if it's just because like I've seen her portrayed by Angela Bassett, who she did a great job for that character in the
I love
season.
her.
Yeah. Marie Laveau, the real Marie Laveau, is surprisingly very white.
Really?
Yes, I've seen pictures of her online that come from like the New Orleans museums. She is very light skinned, like very, very light skinned, which I
Interesting.
wasn't expecting. But
Yeah.
so Marie Laveau visited prisoners on death row and prepared last meals for them. She cared for the sick in her community during the 1878 yellow fever epidemic. She gave lessons to women in her community, and she was a dedicated practitioner of voodoo, a healer, herbalist, and entrepreneur. And she was also known as a prominent female religious leader and community activist. And in her role as a voodoo practitioner, customers would often appeal to Laveau for help with family disputes, health, finances, and other personal relations. She did die peacefully in her home, like I said, on June 15th, 1881. But I just thought that it was like important because, we talk a lot about the negative side of true crime, and I really just wanted to show like sometimes the people that you think you know about, you actually don't. So like I said, Marie Laveau is usually depicted as evil. Um, and she was actually a really sweet woman. So yeah, that's my true crime topic of the week. Technically not true crime, but technically is because I'm giving the information, the correct information. You know what I mean?
Ew. I'm giving the facts.
Yeah. Sometimes
Mm.
facts are a lot better than the fiction.
Sometimes, well, actually, yes, yes, because fiction, you know, it's fiction, but when you hear like, it's like when you watch a scary movie and it says based on true events, it's like, oh, it makes it a little bit more scarier.
Yeah, but then a lot of the time, like the only thing that's true is like the news part of it, and everything else is fictionalized in those.
Um, so Ghosties, if you don't know already, and I know it's just super random, but when Chelsea and I record, we're on Google Docs, so we're like reading off
A
a
script.
list of a script, you know, type of thing. Not a script, I want to say a script, but I kind of just looked ahead at the tarot card reading segment.
Did you forget? Did you forget?
Yeah, yeah, because I saw my name and I was like, what? I have a tarot card reading today? Oh,
Payback.
I'm just
Payback.
gonna take my time on the paranormal topic of the week.
For those of you that are confused, ghosties,
No, no, no.
last week,
Let them stay confused. No, it's fine. They don't need to know.
last week, Veronica called me out in a tarot reading, and I told her I was
Not
going to get her
tarot.
back.
The tarot cards called you out. I didn't call you out. You asked for that reading. And because I felt for you, I was like, you know what? Listen, you could do a reading for me next week. But the fact that I see the title of the spread, which I will not say yet. Anyway, so the paranormal topic of the week. I'm gonna be talking about the haunted playhouse. Sorry, the haunted Pasadena Playhouse. And I'm gonna be reading you guys an article from the Los Angeles Times written by Allison Bell. Um, another location that's like down the road for me, so gonna take my time. Anyways, the Pasadena Playhouse is back. This was back in 2010. After shutting its doors in February because of financial problems, the theater reopened October 12th with the one man play FDR starring Ed Asner. But is the building's most enduring protagonist back as well? Some say Gilmore Brown is the charismatic founder of the Playhouse, has been haunting the theater and adjacent office building since his death in 1960. Brown's ghost has never been seen, but he's made his presence known in other ways, such as moving things around, stomping about, and taking control of the elevator. According to Pasadena Playhouse archivist, archivist. Ar-
Archivist?
Thank you. I was waiting for you to help me. You're just laughing at me.
Yeah,
Ellen
because it's
Bailey.
funny.
Jeez, it's funny. Ellen Bailey, who has been associated with the theater since 1940s. I even remember reading over this and I was like, I'm gonna have trouble with that word. That's the sad part. His intent has never been to scare or disrupt, said Bailey. He's a helpful, friendly ghost. When he was alive, he wanted things a certain way, and he still does. But the question is now, is Gilmore's ghost still there, or did he get lonely while the theater was empty and depart for happier haunting grounds? Before his death, Brown poured his heart, soul, and talent into the theater for over 30 years. He was born in North Dakota in 1886 and as a young man created an acting troupe called the Gilmore Brown Players. In 1917, he established the Community Playhouse Association of Pasadena. In 1925, he founded and became the artistic director of the newly built Pasadena Community Playhouse, which was designed in the Spanish colonial revival style by noted Pasadena architect Elmer Gray. The theater quickly rose to national prominence with the Southern California premieres of plays by William Soroyan, Noel Coward, and Tennessee Williams, as well as the world premiere of Eugene O'Neill's Lazarus Laughed. In 1928, Brown established a School of Theater Arts. In 1937, the Playhouse was declared the State Theater of California after it became the first American theater to perform the entire Shakespeare canon. Many major talents passed through the school and theater, including Gene Hackman, Justin Hoffman, William Holden, Raymond Burr. and Sally Struthers. Brown remains at the helm of the Playhouse until the late 1950s. There are many tales of Brown's afterlife appearances, such as when in the late 1980s he was said to have lent a hand to theater alumnus who was working on a set late at night. As the graduate was carrying a heavy set piece down the hall, he felt the other end being lifted up and carried, according to Bailey. Having heard stories about Gilmore's ghost, the man was spooked at first and he ran out of the building, but eventually he figured that Gilmore was going to help him. Let him. He went back with renewed energy and finished the set, Bailey said. Brown, a perfectionist, would often keep actors at dress rehearsals in the wee hours until he was satisfied with their performances. According to Bailey, he would sit in the audience with his cat, and if the cat turned his back to the stage, that was Brown's cue that a sense needed to be tweaked. Love that. And though both he and the cat are long gone, Brown has continued to make his disapproval clearly known. Bailey said once during a dress rehearsal, an overhead light crashed onto the set. We all knew it was Gilmore, she said. The director said, "Okay, Gilmore, I'll fix the scene." Another trick that Bailey said Brown used to play, fiddling with the lights in the control booth, fun, during intermission, I can't read. The technicians would lock the booth and take a break. When they returned, the settings on the lights would be changed. And over the years, if anyone ever heard footsteps when no one was around, or a piece of paper or a prop mysteriously disappeared or got moved, they'd blame it on Brown, Bailey said. Up until about a year ago, when the Playhouse switched office space, Brown also regularly visited his former office on the third floor. Frequently, the elevator would stop at the floor even though no one pushed the button, said Bailey. The door would open and close as if Brown himself were getting off. Not everyone associated with the theater believes it's haunted, however. Sheldon Epps, the artistic director of the Playhouse for the last 13 years, said that although he feels a spiritual and artistic connection with Brown, he never picked up on the supernatural vibe. But those who believe are wondering, where is Gilmore's ghost now? Tom Ogden, a local ghost lore expert and author of Haunted Theaters, ooh, might have to read that one, thinks Brown's attachment to the theater is so strong that a short closure wouldn't scare him away. He points out that the Pasadena Playhouse closed down once before because of financial problems for a much longer time, from 1969 to 1986, and said Brown's ghost stuck around then. Here's the thing, in the afterlife, there's no, like, time doesn't exist. There's no time. There's no such thing as time. So I don't think his ghost went anywhere. I don't even think he's aware that time really passed.
Yeah.
So I think it's very likely that his ghost is still in there. I'm very happy that it's a happy ghost, like a good ghost, rather than
Mhm.
someone trying to just spook you or do harm to you. But I thought that was a really cute story. Like I said, it's down the road for me, so I will definitely have to try to get
Go
inside those
visit.
doors and visit and see what it's about. Um, so that's my paranormal topic of the week. Chelsea, go ahead and get us started with the tarot card reading.
Yay! So the tarot card reading this week, like we said, is for
All
Veronica.
right, don't fucking yell. Don't. You're too excited for this. You're too hyped.
And the spread is a new one that I found that I've been like waiting patiently to try out, and I felt like this was the perfect opportunity for it.
Mm,
So the spread is called the Bullshit Detector. It is a 4 card
mm,
spread. Card 1 represents the problem. Card 2
me,
represents the lie.
my
Card
life.
3 represents the truth.
That is the truth.
And card 4 represents the solution.
Death.
So just got so morbid and dark. So, Veronica,
Yes.
we are going to start with card 1 and we are going to find out what your problem is. And this comes through the 6 of Wands.
Okay.
You why are you
You.
laughing?
I just feel like you son of a bitch.
So your problem, surprisingly, is not negative. Your
Oh.
problem is that you are reaching victory in what you are trying to achieve. You are gaining a lot of supporters and well-wishers, and you have a very stable and strong successful battle. So it kind of worries me that the problem is the success.
I think the problem is that I don't believe that. The problem
Yeah,
is that I have success right in front of me. I have the love around me, but I'm allowing anxiety and other stuff hold me back.
it's very possible because card 2 is the lie.
Oh God.
And the lie comes through the King of Cups. So you should be emotionally balanced. Um,
Antidepressants will do that.
and so the lie is that you believe that you are not emotionally balanced, that you have not found the balance between intellect and emotions, and that you don't have a deeper knowledge and awareness of yourself. When in reality, you are emotionally balanced. You do have the balance between like your intellect and emotions, and you do have a better understanding of yourself.
Okay, so yeah, I think a lot of my, I don't want to say happiness, but I think the whole not being like depressed like I was, I blame that all on the pill. Not blame, but
Hmm.
so I just think it's my meds that are like making me feel this way, but in reality, I guess the cards are saying that I am okay, which I don't know. Let's stop taking my medications cold turkey right now. We'll see how I am next episode.
Okay, well, are you ready for some harsh truth?
No, I'm trying to fucking install.
Okay, because this is card 3, the truth, and it comes through the King of Wands reversed. You prefer to take the back seat and avoid any leadership at work and in your personal life. You are not proactive, and because of this, you try to avoid productive steps towards your relationships, and you do have the ability to realize your dreams if you can overcome this.
Yeah, okay.
So, card 4 is the solution, and this is coming through justice. You understand cause and effect, and that the outcome will follow your actions. If you acted in alignment with your higher self, then you would have nothing to worry about. If you haven't, then you're going to be called out and made to own up to your actions. You understand that the fairest decision will be made in order to find your balance and equilibrium. So, the solution is to find that balance.
Hmm.
And balance really came up a lot in this reading, so I feel like that's something important to focus on.
Balance is something I've been trying to work on for the past 3 years, man. It's
Yeah.
it's not easy, It's
Mhm.
it's not, and there's different types of like what you're trying to balance in your life are completely different to the things that I'm trying to
Uh-huh.
balance in my life. But
Exactly.
you know that balancing those things in your life is really difficult. The things that I need to try to balance in my life are complex, you know?
Yeah.
Um, honestly, I wasn't that bad. Not as bad as yours last week for sure.
I don't feel like mine was as bad as either of us made it out to be though. Like when I actually like sat down and listened to it while I was editing, I was like, it didn't so much like call me out as it did just get straight to the point, and it's just not sugarcoating things for me anymore.
It called you out in the things that you are not being consistent with.
Yes.
But other than that, yes, it was straightforward and it was beyond spot on.
Yes,
Um,
listen, ghosties. I have a problem with not listening to the tarot cards because I have issues. and
period.
the, and the tarot cards are not being nice to me anymore. They're just being like straight up, and they're not sugarcoating things for me like I said earlier. Like they're like, "Bitch, you need to fucking listen." And
Yeah,
I
you've had your
I'm
chance to fuck around. Now you're finding out you need
yeah.
to get your shit together.
Yeah, and I know this and I'm working on it, and they're making sure that I know that they know.
You know?
Yeah, you know? You have anything else to add?
Nope.
Okay. So thank you for joining us this week, Ghosties. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If so, make sure to give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am still working on uploading all of the videos, but we are getting closer to being caught up, which is really exciting. And also equally exciting, if you want a tarot card reading, please DM us and we will choose one lucky person a week. We are your hosts. I'm Chelsea.
No, I'm Veronica.
Have a spooky weekend.
Bye.
Bye.